This is my M5 MacBook Pro I bought back in January, and this is the Time Machine backup that no longer works. So let's build a new one using this case and this drive. This is what's next. I was having a hard time thinking what my next episode this week was going to be, and while I was at Micro Center looking at that floppy drive, the show is being posted here somewhere, you can look that up, I came across this drive right here, and I ended up getting the pricing from Amazon, so I was like, hey, I'll just pick it up at Micro Center. And then on Amazon, I picked up this SATA hard drive flat docking station, but I'm using it as like an external case, so we're going to see how well that works. But the advantage to something like these two items, you know, the hard drive and the case, is that this is like, well, it's done. And there's not really an easy way to pop this thing open. I don't think there was any screws under these feet, if I remember correctly. Nope, there's nothing there. So I'd have to kind of destroy the case in order to get to the drive, to buy a new drive, and I said, screw it. I thought maybe there might be some of you that watch my channel that have never built a hard drive setup before. Yeah, I kind of did it with that AV device a couple weeks ago, but you know, this is a dedicated system. So we're going to get it set up. We're going to get it connected to the MacBook Pro, and we're going to set up Time Machine. So let's get started. Flat docking station is now open and ready to go. Yeah, I could have bought a case for this, just a regular hard drive case, but I don't know, for some reason this one looked cool. It does have a fan, so that's good, and good solid rubber feet there. Yeah, it's going to require a power supply because this is a 3.5-inch drive mechanism, so it requires a little bit of horsepower there. We do have our USB 3 connection and some documentation. It is an all plastic construction, not much to it. It does have an opened area right here, and then I believe this is just a lid that pops right open like that, and you basically would easily slot your drive right in here. And then obviously this is for airflow, I'm going to guess now looking at it. Nice thing about this one, there's no screws. I don't have to take anything apart. It's just ready to go out of the box. And as far as those feet are actually staying put. I like that. All right, let's get the hard drive open. There is our limited warranty manual in a variety of different languages. Opening this up. Everything else is just cardboard, so we're just going to throw that off to the side. And there's our drive mechanism itself. This should be a very easy install and setup, so I'm looking forward to demonstrating this after I get the anti-static bag opened up. All right, you might be asking yourself, why did you buy another Seagate if the one that you had already died? Honestly, that's the first time I've really had a problem with the Seagate drive. So, and this being on sale and price matched by Micro Center based on what Amazon was selling it at, the 2 terabyte drive is more than sufficient for my MacBook Pro, and decided to just go with it. But again, standard 3.5-inch drive. Let's get it installed into this case. We're going to go ahead and open up this, and I think if we're lucky, this should just slide right in. I don't know if this is going to, yep, there it goes. Just like that. I just created an external hard drive. Now note that this is a standard USB-A connection, so I will need the C connection, and I'm using this one from Anchor, and that's what we're going to use to plug it into the laptop. The cables are plugged in to the external case. What we have to do first is we have to power on this device, then connect it to the MacBook here. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get this powered up. I'm going to press the power button. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this connected. We should get an alert. Now the same thing would happen on a Windows computer if you're doing this. Plugging it in, it's going to ask if we want to connect to the Mac. We're going to say allow. Drive is spinning up, I hear it, and then it should ask if I want to initialize this disk. All right, eject, initialize, ignore. In my case, I'm going to initialize it. It brings up disk utilities. So I'm going to select the drive. We are going to erase the drive, And we're just going to use the defaults, erase. Now again, this is a hard disk drive, spinning platters, heads, all of that. This will take a while before it's ready to be used. So it's waiting for the partitions to activate and formatting disk 5 S2 as Mac OS Extended Journal with name untitled. Looks like it's supposed to be mounting the disk at some point, so we'll see. Okay, now it's creating the APFS container. And just like that, we have an untitled drive with 2 terabytes free. Let's just do a test copy here. I'm going to take item from my movies folder. And I have this setting up a website, Camtasia project, and let's drag it over. And actually, it didn't take that long. It was only 225 megabytes, so wasn't as long as I thought. All right, well, let me try something a little different. Let's go to my YouTube projects. Okay, here we go. 55 gigabytes. Let's see how long this takes. There we go. It's going to say about 5 minutes. It's doing pretty good. 1.45789 2.1, 2.3, blah, blah, blah. So again, hard disk drives, not as fast as your SSDs, but guess what? Those few steps, I got the drive added to the case added to the computer formatted the drive is now copying. The next step will be to set up our time machine backup. Yes, we got the untitled 2 terabyte drive is functioning. We've copied stuff over, we've deleted it. Now we need to set it up as a time machine backup. So I went to the Apple logo, System Settings, which then brings up this window here. Scroll down and find Time Machine. And then in here, we want to select this device, or the new external drive that I just built, and we want to click Add, and there it is. There's the untitled drive. We can then set up this disk. So I'm not going to encrypt this backup because it's going to be put into a safe. I'm okay with that. So, but if you really want it to be secure, you're going to want to encrypt that backup by adding a password and a hint. But for now, we're just going to unselect it. I'm sure some of you in the comments are probably sitting there going, that's a terrible idea, but hey, that's what the safe is for. Anyways, I'm going to select done. And it's preparing the device. There is my backup, and it says waiting to back up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the icon here and select backup now. It is now preparing the backup, as you can see there. It's going to take a few minutes. So it says here we are, that it's doing it on an encrypted disk. And I think at any point you can change this to an encrypted disk. So just know that that's available. But for this video, not a big deal. We just want to get this thing started. And there we are. 1.2 gigs have already been copied over. The great thing about this is, again, it doesn't matter. It's not if, it's when your system might die. Or if you buy a new Mac, you can use the Time Machine backup to restore the new Mac. And then you're set and good to go. Well, that's my look at this little setup here. So let's take it back to the studio for my final thoughts. Well, to be honest, I think this device was the star of the show. Made it so easy to create an external drive. Yeah, I could have bought one pre-made, but the idea of able to swap out the drive mechanism and use this case makes it a little bit more convenient for me. Also, since I recorded the video, I did encrypt the storage. So just to let you know, not only is it going into my safe, but it is an encrypted drive now. I will show that on the screen currently. It's just a right click and you encrypt, and there you go, you're all set. I'm glad that I got this created. I'm glad that I was able to present it to you. It solved my problem. Hopefully it might solve one of yours. Well, that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw or thought it was informative, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to click the subscribe button. If you're interested in both this and the drive, I'll have links in the description below. In the meantime, you can watch one of my other videos either here or here. And until next time, I'll see you again for another episode of Hey, What's Next?